So, Crawfish, once you're up in green, let me know.
Roger that. It had a crash, so I gotta start all over again.
That's no problem. Excuse me.
So, from what I recall from last time, we'll be using the left and right engine, operator buttons, ignition, motor, and norm here.
That is correct. So we're going to be using the engine operation switches for the left and the right, and then we're also going to be using the bleed air switch. If you don't know where the bleed air switch is, Crawfish, it's kind of on the left, I'm sorry, it's on the right outboard side of the right console. Like the canopy disengage lever kind of hovers over the top of it. It's directly outboard from the pitot heat switch.
I don't think I've ever touched that button.
That's why you've never gotten a windmill restart.
Yeah, that's a pretty hidden switch right there. I never even noticed it existed.
Yep.
So, for those of us who have a lesser understanding of how that works, what exactly is the bleed air switch doing when it's on versus off?
So what the bleed air switch does is it literally creates a bleed air from one engine to the other to help run all of the stuff. Like If you have one engine that's cut out or something like that, it can help the engine stay running.
Nice. Why would we want to turn that off?
Because we need the windmill to actually turn the inboard prop. Because otherwise you don't get enough engine speed.
Understood.
We need all of the rotation ability and all of the compression that the dead engine will be generating to go directly to the process of restarting the engine. The other switch we'll be messing about with today is going to be the crossfeed switch. It's in the left console, kind of outboard from the air refueling handle.
The channel's 31 FM.
30.1.
Radio check. 5x5. Okay, 2-2 is green. Copy.
Are we still waiting on anyone?
I don't think so.
Sorry, I just explained everything, and I forgot I had my push to talk on for Discord. So, what we're going to be doing first is we're actually going to be doing a windmill restart for an engine. All right, so we're going to climb up to about 15,000 feet AGL, or actually just altitude, barometric altitude. And then we're going to kill the right engine. Basically, we're going to put it all the way back and turn in the idle detent off spot. So once that engine's off, you're going to want to do a couple of things, right? One, you want to make sure that you're stable flight. So always make sure you're flying the aircraft first, okay? The next thing we're going to do is we're going to check that temperature gauge for the engine that we've cut off. It should start dropping down. Now, you can put that right engine into motor position with the engine operation switch to help cool it down faster. All right. So once it starts getting pretty cool, you're going to put the aircraft into like a 30 degrees or greater dive. The windmill restart takes about 8,000 feet of altitude to get to actually work. So just know that. Once you're in the, well, before you're actually in the dive, I'm sorry, let me back up. So right switch or right engine off, right engine switch into motor to cool it down. We're still in level flight at 15,000 feet. You're going to cut off the bleed air, and then you're going to turn on your crossfeed. All right. Then you're going to push the nose over into a 30-degree dive. You're going to slam both throttles all the way forward. Firewall both throttles. It's going to take about 8,000 feet to get the engine cooled and also spun up enough where you can actually get it to ignite. So once you see your temperature gauge on that engine get really close to that white line, you're going to take and push your engine operation switch into ignition, ignite, and you're going to hold it there until you actually see it'll spike on a temperature. The temperature gauge should spike up, and it should go almost to 8,000 or 800 degrees, right? And you're watching your RPMs. Once the engine RPMs get above 35%, you should be able to let go of the ignition switch at that point, and it should continue to start up. So once it starts rolling up and starts gaining some momentum, you're going to level out. You're going to then turn off your bleed air, turn off your crossfeed, and hopefully everything is hunky-dory. Any questions about that?
When do we turn the crossfeed on again?
Crossfeed is going to be turned on at the same time that you turn off the bleed air. At the top, before we do our dive.
Okay.
All right. Now, the reason why you would do a windmill restart is if the APU is damaged and you can't do an APU restart. Okay? APU restart's a lot easier. You just motor the engine until it cools down, have the APU turned on, turn on the APU generator, bump it from off to on, and it should start up. So, but one of the other reasons is, like, if you've taken damage. Okay, so if the engine has taken a hit and it's on fire, instead of pulling the T-handle immediately and squibbing that engine, which means you're basically putting fire retardant inside the engine, you're never going to get the engine to restart if you squib it. Okay? So what you want to do is you want to try and shut off the fuel pumps for whatever side is affected. You want to cut that engine off. Don't pull the T-handle. Keep an eye on that light, and hopefully that light will go off. The fire light. All right? If it doesn't go off, you're fucked, and you just got to pull the handle and squib it. But ideally, you want to try and get the fire out by starving it from fuel. And then you may have to do a windmill restart. Any questions? I take your collective silence as a no.
I'm never at 15,000 feet.
I've seen you way up there. All right, so go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna recap. So engine to cut off, cross speed on, bleed air on, dive, let the plane go out, and then start up.
So it's gonna be cut off the engine, right? You're gonna turn on, and this is at altitude. So cut off the engine, turn on the crossfeed, turn off the bleed air, and then once you see that your temperature is starting to come down, you can actually then dive the aircraft, 30-degree dive, throttle to maximum. So then you're taking it out of the cutoff, and you're slamming both throttles all the way forward. All right. And then once the temperature is near that white line, that's when you're gonna take that engine operation switch into ignition, and you're gonna hold it there until you actually get a reaction from the engine. You'll see the temperature gauge spike, and then you should see it climb up from off of 35%. So you should actually get more RPMs than that. Once the engine's RPMs start climbing up above 35%, you can let go of the ignition, and it should go automatically back into motor. And then just level it out. Turn on the bleed air, turn off the crossfeed.
Okay, got it.
If you let off ignition, does it go back into motor or does it just drop to norm?
Well, in the aircraft, it's spring loaded, so it goes automatically back into norm.
So we have to manually bring it back to motor after the ignition?
No, you do not put it into motor after the ignition. Normal operation, because we're using ignition. The IGN is actually telling the engine, or telling the aircraft, we want to ignite that engine, and then once it ignites it, you have to let it drop back into normal. Do not put it into motor. Motor cuts off the fuel and spark.
Copy that.
Any other questions? All right.
Airline traffic, airplane 5A10, taxi runway 01 via Golf Alpha Outline. 1-1 is Oscar Mike.
One, two, roll.
Two on the hook. 2-2 rolling. Tree 1 rolling.
traffic, Dragonfly taking active runway 01 for immediate takeoff around the airfield. Ally. And 1-1's in position.
1-2 in position.
2-1 in position. Two in position. 3-1 position.
Copy that. Alright, double check your brakes. Make sure your flaps are half, 80%. Control surface wave. 1-1 is green.
1-2 green.
2-1 green. 2-2 green. 3-1 green.
Copy. Ramping up. Brakes off. 3, 2, 1. Rolling.
One, two, rolling.
Going. 2-2's rolling. Tree one rolling.
1-2 clear.
Alright, 1-1's clean. Gonna do a best speed climb to 15,000 feet.
2-1's up. Three one's clean.
Alright, flight checking right, while still maintaining a 4,000 feet per minute climb. That's Angel's 9. Come on, wings level. Heading at 187. climb. Angel searching. We can probably push up to like Angels 18 just to get above the cloud cover.
The A10 go that high?
Fast Angels 15 dropping down to a 2,000 foot climb.
Yeah, crawfish, we've had the 8 up to about 25,000.
Nice.
It's not pretty up there, but we can get it up there.
Angel 16.
I bet it flies like shit at that altitude.
Yeah, a little bit of a dog.
The IRL A10 can actually fly at 25,000 feet, 30,000 feet, no problem. Angel 70. And Angels 18. Alright, 1-1 is gonna do a left-hand U-turn, so we're gonna be heading back the other direction. These clouds sure are pretty in 4K.
Agreed. I'm wearing my Christmas present right now.
Nice.
What did you get there, Tusk?
Nope, not me.
Ah,
Nah, it's 2-2. I got that, finally got my Quest 3 set up.
very nice. Hope it's working out well for you.
I could see every scratch on the panel. It's beautiful. And I also got an extension on my joystick, so it's pretty awesome as well.
Yeah, I found that to be a huge improvement.
It is.
And 1-1's coming wings level. Wings level and heading 007.
All right, guys. So now this is where we're gonna cut that right engine out. So let's get spread out a bit and let's not be so clustered in together. one's cut right engine. Should get all the master warnings. Leader's coming off. And crossfeed is turned on. I'm watching my temp gauge. It's gotten down pretty low. Alright, so now I'm going to begin my 30 plus degree dive. There's my dive. Both engines at full throttle. Waiting for that temperature gauge to roll down.
Igniter on. I got ignition. She's ramping up 40, 50, 60. Alright, starting to pull out of the dive. Here comes full engine power. There we go. Boom, boom. Back at it. Leveled off.
Crossfeed's off and bleed air is off.
Tree 1 recovered.
Nice.
$60-degree dive.
Nope, it's got to be more than 30. Copy.
Two recover, both engines on.
Pull up, pull up.
Excellent.
2-1, I did not get an engine restart, but I've
Pull
done it
up,
before.
pull up. Altitude,
Peter.
altitude.
Jesus, Gator, how'd that sand taste?
I was just stubborn to get that motor going, but unfortunately it didn't kick in.
So one thing, you do not have to put the engine into motor to get the restart, okay?
Yeah, my temp got down right to that white line just on the dive.
Yep. And that's the thing, is you're looking for it. It's got to be less than 180 degrees, so it's got to be between... If you get it to that first hatch line after the 1, you're usually good.
Oh yeah, it went down. It went down to 150 or less all by itself.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is you got to make sure, shut off the bleed air, turn on your crossfeed, go into the dive, check your temp. If the temp looks good as you're doing the dive and both throttles are at full throttle, when you press and hold that the operation switch into ignition, you're going to see that temperature gauge spike, and you should see the RPM start to climb up.
So throttle full forward before ignition, you're dumping fuel in, are you not?
Yes. And that's why you got to be in the dive, and you have to be holding the ignition button to actually get it to ignite. So Gator, we're gonna do a climb up again. Did you get your second engine restarted?
Yep.
Alright. So we'll climb back up and try to do a windmill on it again.
Copy that.
The part that I found the hardest was actually holding down that, or holding up that ignition button.
Yeah, that's why it's good to have it bound to something. Mutter, I'm taking a left-hand U-turn.
Shall we?
So when on top at altitude, just confirming again, we'll throw the right engine into idle, turn off the bleed air, turn on the cross feed, waiting for the engine temperature to get low. While doing that, or are we waiting for the engine temperature to drop when we drop? Because I saw my engine temp drop even before I started descending.
Yeah, it's gonna drop, but you need the altitude and you need the dive to increase the RPMs. But you're doing something that you shouldn't be doing in there. Do not put the engine into idle. All right, the engine is in the off position until you start your dive, and then once it's out of the off position, when you're in your dive, it's full throttle all the way forward.
That's one thing I noticed whilst I was already 3/4 of the way to the dive is my right throttle did not jump out of the off detent, even though I physically moved it up. So that's something I'll have to be mindful of.
Alright, 1-1 is at Angels 18, heading of 188.
Right engine is off. Cross feed's on, bleed air off. And 1-1's got good starting temperature, so here goes right throttle all the way forward and dive it. Waiting for that temp. There, it's below 150. There's the ignition, 35%, and it's climbing, and I'm leveling out. And right engine fully recovered. Bleed air on. Cross speed off.
Tree 1 recovered.
Hey.
You're like a verbal checklist.
Okay, 2 unrecovered that time.
Excellent.
And you said you wait for the engine temp to drop to around 1.5 before you start descending.
No, it'll drop. I dropped to 1.5 in the descent, so it never really got below 200 until I started diving.
Copy. 1-2 descending. Oh boy.
Now as you descend, slam that right throttle all the way forward.
And 2-2 recovered.
Oh, looks about right.
Good job.
Now Gator, press and hold that igniter.
And oh, we got some spinning.
That looks like a restart to me.
Yes, sir.
There you go. Now once you get full power back up, then you can level out, and then bleed air and all that happy jazz back on.
Awesome.
Good job, both of you guys. The next thing we're going to talk about is if you ever have a HUD failure, just note that you have other instrumentation inside the aircraft, not just the HUD. So remember, you have your mechanical altimeter, you also have a mechanical compass. Sometimes if you have your HUD go out, you can actually still have your HEMIX, so you can actually use that. But make sure that you're aware and, first off, get control of the aircraft, make sure you're not going to die, and then check your gauges. You can try to restart the HUD if you get a failure by kicking the IFCC off and then back on again. But 9 times out of 10, if it failed out, there's a reason for it. So. Any questions on HUD failure? Excellent. All right, so next thing we're going to do is single engine operation. and we're actually going to do an emergency landing, single engine only. So this is going to entail, we're going to cut the left engine because that is the worst one to lose. You do not want to lose the left engine, but we're going to land left engine-less. Something to keep track of. When you lose the left engine, you lose left-hand hydraulics, which means your elevator, aileron, and left rudder. But you also lose your landing gear hydraulics, you lose your wheel brake hydraulics, you lose your nose wheel steering hydraulics, and also your flaps. Right engine, when you lose that, you lose the left flight surfaces, and then you lose the speed brakes. This is the reason why we do a clockwise circle around a target area, because if you're going to get hit by a missile, you'd rather get hit in the right engine than the left. Any questions so far? All right, so because we're going to be doing a landing without the left engine, there's a couple of things you have to be aware of. You will have emergency brakes, okay? Emergency brakes, to get them to stop the aircraft, on the left-hand console towards the front, near where your seat height adjustment switch is, there's a handle over there that's labeled emergency brake. Does everybody see it?
Yep.
Yep.
Got it.
Got it. Copy. All right. So, as you're coming in for a landing, you're going to have that puppy pulled. All right. The other thing is you're not going to have hydraulic pressure to drop the landing gear. So what you're going to have to do is where the HSI is, in the center bottom of the instrument panel in the front, there's actually a blank panel where the pave penny controls used to be at, right? So it's a blank panel above the circuit breakers. On the left side of that, there is actually a handle called Augs Land Extend. Okay, so that's your auxiliary landing gear extension. To make that switch work, you'll notice there's a little push tab on the top of it. You have to push that button in, and then you have to pull that handle out, and then when you drop the landing gears, they'll come down. Otherwise, no landing gear. Does everybody see that handle?
2-2.
1-2.
Go on.
Alrighty. So, those are the basics. Remember, you're not going to have flaps. When you come in for a landing, it's going to be, you want to get as slow as you possibly can. So this is not manual reversion. You're still going to have hydraulic pressure. You're still going to have flight control. So you're not going to have nose wheel steering. You're not going to have your speed. You're not going to have your brakes. You will have speed brakes, no flaps, no wheel brakes, no nose wheel steering, no landing gear hydraulics. If nobody has any other questions, I'm going to get into a pattern about 3,000 feet above ground, flowing with the runway, and I'm going to enter a right-hand downwind, and I'm going to cut the left engine. And this is left engine completely off.
Good job, start to time.
Tree 1, I'll be last. I'm in a right upwind. And I'll extend.
Yeah, 3-1, yeah, 12 behind you currently.
Alright, 1-1 is left engine cut, and left-hand hydraulics are gone. First thing I'm doing is I'm flying to make sure that I'm okay. Getting into a level flight path even though I'm in my turn. Try not to lose too much speed. Once I get on the downwind, I'm actually going to pull my emergency landing, or I'm going to pull my emergency brake handle so I don't forget that.
Yeah, 1-2, start your crosswind.
Emergency brake handle is out. One's on the descent a little bit.
Someone said 1-2, start crosswind.
Yeah, go ahead and make your right turn. Get on your downwind leg.
2-1 will follow 1-2.
2-2's following 2-1, about 3 miles behind.
Copy. 2-1 is singlet. You are using it.
One has established right-hand downwind.
Line X right big is a 6. Flight of 2 Kiowa is north X stop, just going to be flying around. Copy that, Pegasus. Airline traffic Dragon flight doing practice emergency field operations at Airline.
1-1 is turning downwind to base and pulling the auxiliary landing gear extension handle.
Goes turning right down.
2-2 is left engine off.
1-2 is also left engine off.
1-1's getting dirty. You guys might want to turn your cross feed on just to help balance out the weight. 1-1 is turning base to final. Checking everything. Got 3 green. No flaps because they are non-functional. Lined up on final about 1 mile out. 217 in the box. Got to pull speed brakes. Last possible second.
Two-two's on base.
The 82nd is seeing everyone stationary in the air. Is anyone else having server issues tonight? Dragon flights are good so far. Understood.
One's
I
down.
think he's right. I think everybody's stationary. Yeah, right. Looks like Dragonfly is also stationary in here.
Copy that. I'm going to probably end up restarting the server then.
If anybody missed, Ryden's probably going to be restarting the server.
Okay.
Good, because I killed my right engine instead of my left engine.
Did you manage to touch down there, 2-2?
I'm still flying.
Okay.
We're still flying, we just won't see each other.
Yeah, 2-1's on a short right base.
Oops, there it
Server
goes.
restarting.
Server's down.
Ah, that son of a bitch.
That was funny because I just in the habit of pulling my right throttle and I shut it down like, oh crap. I'm only 3,000 feet.
That sucked. I was trimmed up and right in line.
So I tried an AP restart, it wouldn't do it.
Well, for me, when I cut back my engine, my right engine to idle, after I landed, it like shut completely off. So I was coasting down with no engines. Obviously, when we get back in, same thing, 50% fuel, targeting pod, ECM pod, and sidewinders. Hey, but crawfish can take this time now to change his call sign. Hey, yo.
That is correct.
And also remember to select your library when you do your reload.
Yeah. Use that cool livery that we got you.
It'd be nice if I could get it to where it defaults.
Yeah, it never will do that. I'd hate to see ED try and get it so it does that because, it goes without saying that, they'll implement something like that that will absolutely just break everything else.
Yeah, and the minute you add a new library, it'll break everything.
Yep.
Server is showing.
I mean, we were fine. I don't think there was a problem on the server for us, but
No,
Yeah, well, we stopped.
everybody was frozen.
Yeah, the blue circles stopped moving and couldn't see your airplanes anymore.
I flew
Although
right
I
by
was
you,
still
Grim.
flying.
You were on base.
Nice.
Could have fragged them for free.
I'm not seeing the server at all.
Refresh again. It's up because I just loaded in.
comms check on Fox Mike 30, that one.
5x5.
1-1, drop 5x5.
Got you all 5x5.
Tree 1 radio check 30.1.
5x5.
Tap.
Request refueling. Request rearming.
Copy.
On green check.
1-1 is the same.
3-1 green. Uh, 1-1 wheel chocks.
Chief, remove the wheel chocks.
Copy.
That lane has no tack in, correct?
That is correct. No tack in at line.
Refueling complete. Rearming complete. Wheel
What's your
chocks
screen
are
shot?
now removed.
have any questions on what they need to do before we get up there? Silence is golden. Excellent. Allied traffic, Dragonfly 5A10 taxiing 2 runway 01 via Golf Alpha Allied. Yeah, 11 Oscar Mike.
One, two, rolling.
On the move.
Two-two's rolling.
3-1.
Allied traffic, Dragonfly 5A10 is taking out to runway 01 for immediate takeoff to the airspace around Allied. Allied! One in position.
One, two in position.
2-1 in position.
Two in position.
3-1.
Cover that. Alright, check flaps, check brakes, 80% throttle, check engines, control surface flight. 1-1 is green.
1, 2, green.
Line X-ray 36, checking in off SOB, just flying around the area to the east.
2-2 green.
3-1.
Cover that. Rolling on and brakes off. 3, 2, 1, rolling.
One, two, roll it.
Going full.
Two.
3-1 rolling.
1-1 clean.
1, 2, clean.
Going up.
Two gears up.
Clean.
Cover that. Flight checking right. Don't get too bunched up though. Remember, we need to space out a bit. In this turn, I'm going to continue my climb to like 3,000 feet AGL. And on the right-hand downwind, I'm going to cut engine, left engine, and then going to then proceed to go around the airport, and we're going to land on 19er on a right-hand, from a right-hand downwind. Questions? Excellent. One's coming wings level. And there's 3,000 feet AGL, cutting left engine. Remember, it's a left engine, butter.
Left, 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 left.
That would be the one on the outboard side.
1-2, cutting left engine.
Going left engine.
One's also turning on cross feed right now, just to make sure you keep balanced.
Two ones cut left.
3-1 cut left.
1-1's on his right hand to get on our right hand downwind.
That, sir, is called the crosswind turn.
Thank you.
Two one, extending my upwind just gives a distance from 1-2.
You doing an emergency land operations right behind him?
Not so much.
Yeah, sorry, airspeed's around 180.
Yeah, I've got my right engine just firewalled, so I'm doing about 250.
Copy that.
It's going turning cross.
1-2 as well. So we need emergency brakes and auxiliary landing gear for this one.
That's correct. Do not pull the landing gear though until you're on your base turn. One is coming wings level on the right hand downwind.
Two starting base.
1-2 is down starting base as well. I'm gonna boost.
Alright, 1-1 is now on the right-hand downwind for 19er, pulling emergency brake handle, double checking everything here, anti-skid shut off, which it should. I'm still at good airspeed, good altitude, 247 in the box.
One starting race, right crosswind behind 2-2.
Go on, turning right now.
Alright, 1-1's turning base, pulling the auxiliary landing gear extension. One's getting dirty.
One has through green. Allied traffic, dragon flight inbound, emergency procedures, 118, 1-9er, short final. 1-1 has turned base to final. On the lineup.
One, 2 is turning on base for final.
Make sure you guys roll out for this too, so you make room for other people behind you. Remember, you only have 3 brake presses, that's it.
Go on, turning base.
Two, 2, and 3, 1 are on downwind.
While you're moving a little bit quickly, you still do have some rudder control to turn. One's off on Bravo.
One's on short final.
And there's third brake press, and I'm stopped.
One's landing left side. One's wheels down, rolling out.
Once you're down, don't forget to push your emergency brake handle back in and the auxiliary landing gear handle back in after you stopped.
One's gonna exit at Bravo.
Two two's turning base.
It's to clear back to that Bravo behind me.
3-1 turn base 3 green.
Two-one turning final.
Turn final.
Now we would have to get a repair to regenerate the emergency brake.
No, you just push the brake back in and start the other engine back up.
Okay, gotcha. It's just part of the it's built up from the hydraulics then.
Yep.
One off of Bravo.
Well, I'm having the fun of my left engine not wanting to restart now.
I already got mine restarted, but why is my anti-skid not turning on?
What's that?
I got mine restarted, but why is the anti-skid not on? That's something I'm missing.
Push your emergency brake lever back in.
Yeah, that did it. That's probably why I was driving like crap on the way over here.
Playing nice.
Tree 1's recovered green.
Yeah, 2-1's recovered.
1-2's engine's recovered as well.
2-2 as well.
It's the diameter thing.
L1 and traffic, Dragonflight, clear the active.
If anybody turned on your crossfeed, turn that on.
Ooh, yeah.
Thanks for that.
Nope, it's not going to let me recover this fouled engine. So, in a case where you get a fouled engine like I have currently at this moment, a lot of times what you can do is you cut that engine off and then you put that whatever engine is fouled on the startup, you can actually flip that operation switch into motor, and then you just sit there for 30 seconds and it'll actually spin up the motor like I've got the APU running, but it'll spool that motor up and kind of flush out all of the fumes and everything else. You got to wait for 30 seconds, and then supposedly at the end of 30 seconds, you can hit the starter on it, and it should fire up, but mine is not doing it today, it looks like. Thanks, DCS.
Maybe you can practice a single engine takeoff. looking for that golf cart girl with the beers in it. Come get you.
Right. All right, I'm just gonna reslot. Tuscan Motor, you want to take these two back up? We're going to introduce them to manual reversion.
Yep,
So,
will do.
yeah, manual reversion flying. There's actually a control that you might want to have bound up. Gator, or Gator, I think you've got it, but Crawfish, you might want to look into it. It is called
Emergency disconnect lever?
Nope, the emergency disconnect lever is something else. You will also be using that, but it's actually called flight control normal manual reversion.
I see it.
It's a big orange knob on the left console. And I'm gonna warn you, if you guys get into a spot where you're gonna crash, flip that puppy back into regular flight. Into normal flight, all right, and then recover and try again. I'm going to try this startup one more time.
So Crawfish, do you have that manual reversion button bound to a switch? Same with the emergency disconnect?
No, I don't.
Yeah, you might want to do that while we've got a minute here. If you have a switches available.
Will do.
The emergency disconnect is actually a paddle switch on the front of the throttle. Or, I'm sorry, on the front of the stick in the real aircraft. So if your stick has a paddle on the front of it and you want to match the real aircraft, you could bind it to that paddle on the front of your stick. That's for emergency SAS disconnect.
And I got a bunch of spare switches. That's actually my, believe it or not, my comm switch.
Okay, sounds good.
Grim just found the invisible switch.
Yep.
Crawfish, let me know when you're done binding switches and the forest will reposition.
Roger. What's the switch called on the? Yeah, emergency.
It's called the
called
emergency
flight
disconnect lever.
Well, there's the emergency disconnect lever, and then the other one is actually the flight control manual reversion. It's flight control is what it starts with.
I found it.
Unfortunately for us old Thrustmaster stick users, the paddle is hardwired to VR Zoom for VR users.
You could change that.
I think that's one of those things that won't take. But that's okay. I would rather reach over and flip those 4 little switches independently. I use VR Zoom so often to look around the cockpit that I know I'll just accidentally, if I get it to bind right, I'll just sit there accidentally turning off my stuff all the time.
Okay, I'm good to go.
Copy. So, we're going to taxi over to the active. 1-2, why don't you actually lead the way, and
then I'll follow you crawfish, you follow me, mutter, you follow crawfish, and we'll stop just before making the turn on the taxiway.
Sounds good.
One, two, before you make your right-hand turn at the end here, just do a quick stop and we'll see if I'm ready to join us or not. At the very end.
Copy. You want me to hold at the end of this taxiway or hold short before the runway threshold?
Hold at the end of the taxiway.
Copy. Holding short.
We'll wait for you.
So while I'm waiting for my INS alignment, some theory behind manual reversion flying. So normally when you're flying, you're using hydraulic actuators to move the flight control surfaces to actually, obviously, move the plane around. In manual reversion, it's quite a bit different. So manual reversion is actually the tertiary backup system for the A10. That's when all else fails and hydraulics are not working right, or you lose all of your hydraulics. You are basically flying the plane by cables and pulleys. So one of the big things is you're not moving the whole flight control surface. So if you look out on your wing and you see like there's like an inner tab on the aileron, that tab is actually not a trim tab. That's actually the manual reversion flight control. So what you're doing is you're manipulating that tab to manipulate the aileron to then make the wing fly. Does that make sense?
Does to me.
Likewise.
All right. So the big thing with this is you do still have trim control, okay? And your aileron roll trim is the same. But any kind of trim input you put in is going to be extremely exaggerated. The bad thing is your nose trim is going to be reverse. So your pitch trim, if you know how you normally pull back to have a nose trim up, if you pull back, you're going to have nose trim down. Once we actually go into manual reversion as well, and you lose all the hydraulic pressure, you're actually the plane will probably buck. It'll try to go nose down or nose up or something. Just got to be ready for it and counteract it, but don't overdo it. Big thing about flying in manual reversion is too fast is bad and too slow is bad. So the sweet spot's right around 200 knots to 220 knots. You want to try and be within that airspeed. Also, any kind of maneuvering that you do, you got to do it gently. It's real easy to get yourself into a pilot-induced oscillation. And once you get into that, it's really hard to get back out. So try your best. Like I said, if you're getting into a point where you feel like you're going to, lawn dart, turn the manual reversion off, recover, get back up to a safe altitude, and then try again. So the order of operation will be, we'll get up in the air. We'll get up to about 5,000 feet. We're going to turn the manual reversion on first, and then you're going to shut off. You're going to hit your emergency disconnect lever. The reason why we hit the emergency disconnect lever is because it shuts off the SAS. The SAS in manual reversion flight will most of the time try to fight you, and you don't want it fighting you. Landing in manual reversion is exactly like landing that we just did. You're going to have to pull out your emergency brake lever. You're going to have to pull out your auxiliary landing gear handle because you will have no hydraulics. Again, you'll have 3 brake presses on the wheel brakes. You will have no speed brakes. You will have no flaps. You will have no nothing. Once you get below 50 feet and you get to that air cushion, it's going to actually kind of run a little weird. Your inputs are going to be really, really subdued. So make sure you're good and well lined up. The other thing is that your landing speed, you're going to come in right around 180 knots for a landing. So expect to break something on landing, but hopefully you don't blow up.
So Gator, last time we did this, you and I both had some pretty dramatic nose down events. So just in case that happens, just remember you can flip that manual reversion switch back to normal and recover your aircraft before you crash. But also I discovered last time we did this, I went up and reflew it. And once we get a little bit of weight on the wings, that violent nose pitch down didn't seem to happen. So that's one of the reasons we're flying with some weight on the wings this time, whereas last time we flew it completely clean.
Gotcha. Although technically speaking, that should not matter.
Agreed.
It actually should fly. It actually should fly better without anything on the wings. But hey, ED flight model is ED flight model, so.
I guess.
Hey, get the follow here.
Airline traffic, Dragon Flight, 5A10 taking exit runway 01 for immediate takeoff to the area around that line. Outline. And 11's in position.
One, two, set.
Go on, in position.
Two. 3-1.
Copy that. Alright, check flap, check brakes, 80%. Check engines.
2 flaps might be full.
Yeah. Control surface white, and 11 is green.
1, 2, green.
2 on green.
2-2's green.
3-1 green.
Copy that. Wrapping up. Brakes off. 3, 2, 1, roll it.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
No, I saw nothing.
1, 2, roll.
I got my brakes fully pressed. He's rolling.
Pull up. Pull up.
One's clear.
1-2, clean.
Go on, sir.
No one saw that either.
I honestly don't know what was doing that. Is my gear down or something?
Yeah, it's like your rudder pedals weren't working real good.
Alright, flight checking right. Get a good old 5-degree climb, get about 5,000 feet.
Yeah, it was my rudder pedals. I had to disconnect them and reconnect them. I seemed to clean them up really good.
Alright, coming up on Angel 5. Gotta slow down to about 250 in the box. And 1-1 is nose level wings. Give your guys a little bit of space there. We don't formation manual reversion fly. Alright, 1-1 is and 250 over the box. Flipping all the things. Hydraulic pressure is coming down. There's the nose rise. There it is. Alright, now I'm getting my airspeed under control, getting down to about 220. I don't recommend monkeying with the pitch trim if you can avoid it.
That one's in manual reversion.
But one's a manual reversion fully.
2-2, manual version.
1-2, manual reverse.
3-1 manual.
Better for you this time, Gator.
We'll see.
Alright, like I said, 200 to 220 is about your sweet spot, so we're going to make a little bit of a right-hand turn, we're going to come back around, we're going to land on 1-9er.
from my inside, you can land ahead of me. I'll land behind you.
No, I'll slow down if you need me to.
Beautiful.
I'll go ahead and pull up some altitude if you want to go underneath me.
In manual reversion, everything needs to be just very gentle movements. Don't be yanking the stick if you can help it. Plan well ahead.
Yeah, 2-2, I'll cross underneath you. We're in crosswind right now, I believe.
I see you, 2-1. You're right underneath me.
One's on the crosswind.
I'm going to extend my downwind to get a bit more space.
You're on your upwind, extending your upwind.
Correction, upwind.
One is transitioning from crosswind to downwind.
Are we landing on 19?
Landing on 19er.
Two 2s on crosswind.
Technically, we're all on dates. Crosswind.
No, he's right. Crosswind is at the other end of the runway, or base is turning the final.
Alright, we're landing on 19er, so we're in alternate right to final right now.
In manual reversion, is the trim left and right also inverted?
No, they are not. Aileron roll is not inverted, only the pitch.
Sorry, I don't know what I'm talking about. I thought we were somewhere else in the pattern. Ignore me.
Disorientation. Tree 1 crosswind.
Alright, I'm doing a slow descent, and I've got my airspeed wrangled in about 215, 214. I'm actually in the downwind right now. I'm right across from the field. I'm pulling my emergency brake handle. Emergency brake lever is thrown.
You're not joking about the trim being weird.
Yeah, you don't want to monkey with the trim if you don't have to. This is all really just, ham-fisting the flying. Big thing is, when you turn base, extend out on the downwind further than normal. Because you want to do like a 2-degree glide in, basically. So right now, I'm where I would normally turn base. I'm sitting at about 600 feet AGL. Got a 2-degree down. I'm just extending out farther. One is now turning downwind to base. Auxiliary handle is down. Auxiliary landing gear handle is down. Auxiliary landing gear is down. It's gonna want to buck down on you. 1-1 has 3 greens.
3-1 turn downwind.
final. I overshot my final a little bit.
One, two, gear down. Auxiliary, plan the gear down. On base, starting for final.
One's down.
Two on turning right base.
Altitude, altitude.
Two on turning right final.
I'll try to hold left side of runway to give you room in case.
I'll land right side.
One is down and safe. Little faster, Gator.
And we have no flaps, correct?
No flaps, no nothing.
Nice.
Go on, gear down, straight green.
You can turn by putting your foot down.
Yep, but hitting them brakes, dude, you're gonna run out of runway here.
2-2 starting base.
If you're gonna veer a little bit to the right, because one's down on the left over here. Brakes.
Two on the
Don't hit the
right side.
lights. Well, you didn't die, so I guess that counts. We need him to roll fire trucks.
Smoke up there.
It's okay. He's still alive. Gator, why don't you hook up the ground power and then start a repair.
Copy that.
Two on exiting at Bravo.
Request repair. Unable to comply.
3-1, 3 green, turning base.
Chief, turn on the ground power.
Two on clear at Bravo.
Copy. 1-2's on final, gear down, 3 green. Ground power is now on. Of course, I overshot my runway, but yeah.
You're fine. You want your airspeed about 180.
Pretty close to being there. I'm at about 170. Request repair.
Copy.
Three, one, turn final.
Now I know what I was missing. There's the speed brake emergency retract. Does that work in this manual reversion mode?
No, because you don't have any hydraulic pressure. You're going to want to start braking. Crawfish. Hit the brakes, hit the brakes, hit the brakes. You want to veer to the right if you can.
Doing a little bit of skid.
So with the emergency brakes, you can hit them once and just hold them the whole way as long as you don't let off?
No, because if you hit them once, you're going to lock up the brakes. And then you'll slide. So I usually put them on halfway.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
For an initial slowdown. And then as I'm getting close to where I want to go, I'll push them on all the way. And then while I still got a little bit of speed so I can steer. And then as I'm coming up to where I have to stop, that's when I hit
useful. It. Yeah.
And 2-2 is down and safe.
Good work, guys.
Yeah, I was pretty much down the runway for the most part without brakes.
Yep. Yeah, you gotta get your airspeed down, especially if we run into a shorter airfield or something.
Yeah, I touched down at 155, okay.
Yeah, you can, but the problem is, like, the reason why you're supposed to be doing, like, about 180 is because you're trying to push through. You're supposed to be doing, like, a 1.5 to 2 degree glide down at 180 knots. Because that helps to mitigate that buffer, that 50-foot ground swell buffer.
Hey, what are you doing?
It keeps it from floating, because that float can actually cause you to crash really hard. Because we don't have any flaps or anything like that to help with the flight control surfaces either. Well, guys, that's it for emergency operations. Welcome to getting the second hardest thing in DCS done.
Mid-air refueling at night, is that the hardest?
Just mid-air refueling in the A10 is the hardest.
I'm going to say
Refueling it-
teaching emergency procedures is the hardest.
doing? Hey, what are you doing?
That was fun. Nobody died.
Yeah, last time we did this, I died.
Yeah, I'm actually really surprised, Mother. You didn't die this time.
I did my emergency disconnect first this time.
Turn off the ground power. Copy. Hey,
It's a
what are you
tremendous
doing?
miracle.
Unable to comply.
Having enough frame rate just jump.
Still good over here.
Hey, Gator, you left your wing over there.
Just an extra. Yeah, I was being very, very frugal with the brakes. I'm worried about the, we're worried about them running out.
Ground check on 258, this is Roy 1-2.
Try that faster.
Why is that?
Alrighty, guys. Congratulations on getting through emergency procedures.
Yeah, good job, guys. That was excellent.